Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dear Dream Diary with your host, Ashley. This is episode 19, and I'm going to do things a little differently this episode. I know I keep talking about changes and everything, but change is good, and you got to adapt with the flow, and that's definitely one thing that I have learned the last little bit, especially this past weekend, is adapting with the flow, going with the flow, accepting the change. So the title of today's episode is Forgetting a Part of Me. I'm going to get right into the dream. So, Dear Dream Diary, in this dream, I was at school. I was standing with my locker open and realized there was a door at the bottom, like a crawl space entrance. I went through the entrance and it was a whole different world. I felt safe and like I finally belonged. Something was pulling me back to the other side, and I felt like I had to go back to get something. I started to head back to the entrance, but woke up, end here. And then I have a little note at the bottom that says, woke up feeling like I was missing a big part of me. Now, what I normally do is I'll pull the dream cards. I'm not going to do that today because I think that I'm in a place where I'm able to decipher this dream especially, maybe my other dreams, going forward, I still may need to pull some dream cards, and that's fine. But I feel like I'm not going to pull any dream cards for this. And I'm still going to pull an oracle card, but I'm going to pull from a different deck. And I'm going to talk about what I think this dream means and some of the things that have been happening recently. And then I'm going to pull an oracle card and ask the same question that I always ask. What does this dream mean for me? Or what message does this dream have for me? Now, I'm just going to talk and explain some different things here. Well, for one, I haven't felt like I've belonged in this area, in this, I don't know what the proper term is, but I just haven't felt like I belonged. And I've been searching for many different things, whether that be an answer to what career path I should take, what I should be learning, what I should be doing next, and so on and so forth. I'm just looking for something different to feel that I belong. And the fact that this dream, it's like a kind of, I guess, an entrance to a different realm, similar to my last dream that I had read, or sorry, not my last dream, because I didn't read a dream my last episode, but my last dream that I did read, so I think it was 2 episodes ago, so that would have been 17, I believe, that also talked about a different, like looking for a different realm or dimension. So this dream is very similar in the aspect that I was looking for somewhere that I belonged. I mean, I wasn't looking for the entrance in this dream. This dream, I actually just stumbled upon it, which is actually interesting that I'm saying that with everything else that I'm going to follow along with that. So I just stumbled upon this entrance to this realm. And it's also interesting that I had this dream after the other one where I was searching for the entrance. But like I said, I found the entrance to this realm in a locker at school, which usually you associate school with education and learning. And I went through the entrance and felt like it was safe and like I finally belonged there, but something was pulling me back to this existing dimension, this existing realm. Now, there are so many events that took place on the weekend, but one I'm going to talk about right in this moment. I sat with a friend. She's super, super amazing. There's no title to what she does. She doesn't like to give herself a title, but I guess if we had to title it, in my opinion, I think she's like a shaman. She does all kinds of energy work, healing work, and all kinds of different stuff. So I went to her house on the weekend, and I did an oracle reading for her. And it was quite amazing, actually, because it was like the student and the teacher, and we were having a conversation, and she told me things, it was guidance that she was giving me, basically. And the oracle reading, she said, resonated with her. Some of it resonated with her. And it was funny because at one point I was like, wait a minute, is this reading for me or is this for you? Because everything was resonating with me too. But anyway, so she had said to me that coming to the other side, like the spiritual side and the spiritual realm is amazing. And once you're there, you don't want to leave. But unfortunately, we are human and we do have to exist in this realm and still continue to do our human things that we have to do because this is the realm that we're in. Now, you can still meditate and go to the spiritual realm and make visits there, but again, you can't stay there permanently. So I feel like what this dream is telling me is that I found my way there, and again, I can't stay there. I have to come back to the existing realm. As much as, there's so much peace and serenity there, especially when I meditate, like I'm just so at peace and it's just so calming. And I'll get to everything else that happened this past weekend. But I just wanted to talk about that because, like I said, in the dream, I found the opening to this dimension or realm and went there and felt just pure bliss. And something was drawing me back, and that is the human realm, this existing plane that is drawing me back because, like I just said, you can't stay in the other realm and on the other side forever. So going from that to some of everything else that happened on the weekend, there's so much that happened on the weekend. And I'm going to start with Friday night. So Friday night, I did two oracle readings for a couple friends. And the reason why I did those oracle readings was because I was going to this other friend who's like a shaman. And I was very nervous. And there was also talk of a third party who does Akashic record readings that was going to be there. She didn't end up showing up, but everything happens for a reason. And it's not yet my time to get information on that. And that's okay. But I got nervous about being in the presence of two people who are, I guess, more advanced with their abilities. So that thought made me really nervous. And I said to two of my other friends that I've done oracle readings for before, if they would mind coming over and I'll do oracle readings again. And it was funny because I was nervous about going to the other people and sitting in front of more advanced people with their abilities. But then as the night went on Friday, I started to get nervous about the reading with my two friends because I've read for them before. And I said, like, oh my gosh, I've read for them before. What if I just say the same stuff that I said before? And I just started to get so nervous with that. And it did end up being such an amazing, insightful night. Both readings for my friends were so amazing. And I did not say the same thing that I said before to them, which was just, again, so amazing. There's no words for some of the stuff that I'm talking about. And it might take me a moment to gather my thoughts to say some of the things I'm going to say. But so that was Friday night. So we did the oracle readings and then we ended up just having a night full of laughter afterwards. Like, I don't even know what we were laughing at, but at one point, like, we were on the ground laughing and I have no idea what it was. But those kinds of nights are going to add years to your life because laughter is such a healing gift. And a lot of people overlook that aspect of life. But take a moment to sit with friends and family and just laugh about nothing, because that's what we should be focusing on, is spending time and creating bonds with our family and friends, and not all this materialistic stuff in life. Like, and especially like what comes next. Like, one thing I have learned, and I know I've mentioned it before, is you have to focus on the moment and go with the flow. And I have been so good with doing that, especially the last week. I've been just going with the flow, and I haven't even been thinking of the future, which is great. I mean, obviously there's the future is there, but it's not now. So I'm here and now, and that's where I'll continue to be. So going from Friday into Saturday night, as you all know, I talked about Malcolm on the last episode, which he laughed about the title. I did too when it came to me, and I sat for a little bit. I was like, what am I going to title this episode? And I don't know why that just came to me. I did it. I'm like, well, that's it. It's silly. It's me. It's what I'm going to do. So that was the title. It's I Knight Thee, Sir Malcolm, which is freaking amazing. But so as you all know, Malcolm does TikTok lives almost every single night. I think he does 6 days a week, he said, which he's there to me like almost every night. But if you guys haven't already had the chance to, please go check his TikTok out. And then also on his TikTok, he has links to various other things that he, like to his Instagram and the other stuff, like he has Linktree information. I do just highly suggest going to check out the link from my last episode, I Knight Thee, Sir Malcolm, episode 18. The link is there for his TikTok. Even if you don't have TikTok, I don't watch TikTok other than for Malcolm. Like Malcolm is my TikTok. So I do suggest going to his TikTok and checking it out. He's usually on every night around 9:15, which Eastern Standard Time. So I'm not sure what time that would be in your time zones, but 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. And he's usually on till 2 in the morning. Sometimes it goes a little bit later depending on when Spirit decides to come in. But even when Spirit is not present, there's so much laughter that happens in those lives. And again, I just said that you need that laughter in order to heal and add years to your life. But so Saturday, the Malcolm also does Zoom meetings. I think it's every other Saturday he does it. It's super amazing. And we talk about everything and anything on there. Like, we just get to know each other. We talk about things that we can't talk about on TikTok. Such an amazing experience to be able to do that. And some very interesting things happened on Saturday as well, where it was like I fully opened up the door to the other side. And and it was interesting how it happened too, because I've never written things down before. And by written things, I mean, I'll randomly get the most random thoughts in my head, like periodically. And sometimes it's a lot. And it's honestly the most random things. Like, for example, I'll give you some examples of the stuff that I got this weekend. So like Diamond Drop or Whippet or Cocker Spaniel. And I'm like, why am I thinking of these things? Like, what the heck? Why am I thinking of these things? Now, after this past weekend, I know now why it is that I'm thinking of these things. And what it is it's actually I'm connecting to a spirit or spirit, and I'm getting information from that spirit. Now, all the information that I received this weekend has been 100% validated. And it's so amazing that happened. And it happened during Malcolm's Zoom meeting on Saturday. And it was funny how it happened too, because I decided for some reason that I'm getting these messages, and I said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to write it down. And then at one point during my writing, Malcolm and somebody else from the Zoom meeting were talking about getting messages from your ego versus spirit. And I looked up and I said, okay, well, can you explain to me how it is you know the difference between ego versus spirit? And Malcolm had like a smirk on his face, and he's like, well, give me an example of what you mean. So I said, screw it, I'm going to read from my notes here. And I did. And Malcolm, there was one specific piece of information, like a red pickup truck with white wall tires. So Malcolm said, well, maybe the pickup truck you seen while you were working or throughout your day, and you didn't consciously see it, and then it just kind of came back to you during that. And he said, but in my opinion, I think everything else that you had said is from spirit, messages from spirit. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's really interesting. And then at one point, one of the other girls in the Zoom meeting said, well, I can take all of that information. And I forget what Malcolm said exactly, but like his eyes went wide and said, oh, you can? And then he was like, all right, well, are we leaning into spirit here, Ashley? I call it tuning in, but leaning in for this purposes we'll do. But he said, are we going to lean into spirit here? And I said, well, I don't know. I've never done this before. Like, I have no idea what to do. So I said, all right, I guess so. And then in my mind, I was like, all right, I'm going to channel my inner Malcolm. how do I channel my inner Malcolm? And it was such an amazing night. There ended up being 5 of us getting messages from the same spirit. And it is just mind-blowing, everything that happened during that reading. So then after that, like, that reading alone was just mind-blowing. And I know that the spirit that came through, the person had been asking for such a long time for this spirit to come through. But I think the timing of everything was just such perfect timing, and all the information coming. Like, I don't think it could have happened any other way. And it was just so beautiful for everyone experiencing it, but also for the person who the spirit was for. It was just such a beautiful moment. And it lasted, I think, about maybe 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours. But so then after that, we all took like a 20-30 minute break. And then at some point during the Zoom meeting, again, I started getting the same thing, like messages, information. I'm like, okay, well, it worked the first time, so I'm going to write it down again. And I did that. And at some point, like, one of the people that were helping with the reading, like, he was also tuning in and getting information from spirit. When he took the break, he never came back. Like, he was logged into the Zoom meeting, but he never, like, his video and his audio was turned off. And even when we called for him to come back, he didn't until like later on. And then finally, when he came back, Malcolm, like, I had already shared the second information that I got. And there was 2 people who kind of resonated with some of the stuff, but not all of it. So Malcolm asked me to do like a little recap. And it's funny because people in the TikTok lives always ask for a recap. So he was like, I don't know, he was like, not like testing me, but basically kind of like role playing a TikTok live. So it was really funny. But he asked for a recap once the other person came back. And I did a recap, and that person took everything 100%, knew who the spirit was instantly. And it's crazy because even the next day I got information, and I did get some information yesterday that I haven't shared with him, but the information I got information yesterday and today. So I shared yesterday's information, and everything else that I got yesterday was validated. He took everything of it except for one thing that he's still trying to verify. It was a name, but everything else he took and it was validated. And my mind is just like so blown, but also like my eyes are open. And it's like I said, it's like I opened a whole doorway to everything here. And I think that's what this dream is meaning, is that I've opened the doorway to this other dimension, to this other realm. But again, I can't stay there. I have to make sure that I come back to the human realm and existence in order to continue like the human life that we're living. But that is enough of my rant for that. I'm going to pull an oracle card, which is still relating to everything I just talked about. So let's see what oracle card I pull. And again, I'm just going to ask Spirit, what information does this dream have for me, or what message does this dream have for me? So I have 2 cards that pulled up, and I'm going to intuitively read them. I'm not pulling out the book. I feel like I'm at a point where I don't need the book anymore. So the first card that came to me is a call to transformation, metamorphosis, and the in-between, which what I'm basically getting from this card is basically what it says on it. So I'm calling to transformation. I'm turning from a caterpillar to a butterfly, and I've stepped into the other side, like the spiritual side, and I'm fully embracing it, and I'm not second guessing myself, and I'm opening all doors, not just one, but all the doors to who I'm actually meant to be. And I no longer have to hide who I was, and I'm open to being free and who I am and who I'm meant to be, and I'm going to share that with the world. So that was the first card that I got. And I do that. I take a breath after I get the information just to allow myself to open up to get the information from the second card. Now, I haven't even looked at the second card yet. The second card is emergence of true knowing, intuition, rigorous honesty, inventory. So basically what I'm getting for that is to be true to myself, kind of with what I just said with the other card, is to be true to myself, to know who I truly am, and not to be afraid to hide who it is that I'm meant to be, and to trust my intuition, and to be truly honest to myself and as to who it is that I am and who it is that I want to be and the things that I want to do. That's pretty much what I'm getting from that, which is very validating for everything that I talked about on this episode. It's truly, honestly amazing how all of this podcast originally started as dreams, my vivid dreams, and learning dream cycles and dream patterns, and it's led into this huge spiritual transformation, and I'm loving every single minute of it. I'm loving the community that I found. Like I can't even explain how much love is in this community that I found through Malcolm. And, it started with Malcolm, and he's created and he's grown such a community. And it's just such an amazing, get together that we've had. I have no words right now. I'm just so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for my home that I have. I'm so thankful for my children. I'm so thankful for my family. I'm so thankful for my mother. I'm so thankful for everything, like my 2 jobs that I have, the income that I have from both my jobs. I know a lot of people are so fundamentally worried about the future and what comes next and the bills they have to pay. But like I said at the beginning of this episode, I'm not even thinking about that. And it's funny because I had a conversation with my mom earlier. We were out shopping, and the things that she was saying was a little bit negative. Like she said, we're scraping by, but I have to, pay this, and this, and this, and this. And I said, well, how about instead of saying scraping by, you say, I am making it, period. That's it. Nothing else. And then she said, okay, I am making it, but. And I'm like, no buts. Just say, I am making it, period. Done. Nothing else. Because the more that you focus on the negative things, that's the type of energy you're going to draw back towards yourself. And I know we are human, and we're going to have moments where we have that negative thought, but you can allow the negative thought to complete itself, but then instantly replace it with a positive one, because, without the polar opposites, the other one doesn't exist. So for example, if you don't know what it's like to be poor, you won't know what it's like to be rich. So you have to think positively. And if you have a negative thought that enters your mind, again, replace it with a positive one. So I think I'm going to end it on that note. And I thank you guys so much for joining me on my podcast. My last few episodes have been huge kind of real, awakenings and transformations. And I'm just in love with every moment of everything that is happening right now. If you aren't already following me, I am on almost every single platform out there. I'm on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I am on Amazon Music as well, so you can follow me there. And also, don't forget to go check out Malcolm's TikTok. Tune in to it at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I hope you all have sweet dreams.